Who's been chasing fame for more than 30 years will finally be rewarded today. Singer-songwriter Les Payne is to be presented with a Top Rock Award, not for his music, but for his determination to keep striving for a hit record. From Buckinghamshire, Louise Bevan reports.
Les Payne first took to the stage more than 30 years ago. Since then, he's written 500 songs, released 9 records, and will tonight clock up his 5,100th performance. But he's still waiting for that elusive first hit. For years, bad luck seemed to follow Les around. In 1974, his first solo single, voted a Radio 1 Record of the Week, flopped after the 3-day week caused a shortage of vinyl. Then another disaster when, in 1982, Les released an anti-war song.
A week after it came out, there was the Falklands War broke out, and I literally got cold-shouldered by everyone because, of course, an anti-war song was just bad timing.
Les is now trying again with a new album, though with no distribution deal, he's selling the copies himself. At 48, Les Payne says he's still got time to become a rock legend, and if he doesn't, at least he now has an award to prove that he tried. Louise Bevan, TVAM News, Buckinghamshire.
And the main news again this morning, the Prime Minister last night gave his clearest signal yet that he will do a deal on European economic and political union at the Maastricht summit.
Next week we'll be showing the rest of that interview along with a look at his latest single, which is called There Will Never Be Another Tonight. Now we're rejoined by Kylie and Philip. Good morning again to you.
Hi.
Kylie, we were talking earlier on before the 8 o'clock news about your new single with Keith Washington. And you actually recorded it separately there.
Yeah, it was in Ebony and Ivory. I recorded my part of the song in London.
That's the old Paul McCartney, Stevie
Wonder
song.
Yeah, they recorded it separately as well. And Keith's vocals were recorded in New York. And so we only met at the video.
So you didn't have, did you have any kind of track to sing along with when you were recording it?
No. I put my vocals down. We had a backing singer come in and put down a guide for Keith. And so, no, I didn't have anyone to sing to. And I think if it was a song where you're singing lovingly to someone's eyes, you know, saying I love you, maybe that would be a little more difficult than if you were with me now.
Right, great. Philip, the 6 weeks that you're going to do standing in for Jason, for Jace, could that...
Stop your sniggering, right?
What do you think of this, by the way? What do you think of him standing in for Jason?
Just not let me sing.
I have to go and... I did see Jason's performance, so I have to go and see you, Phil.
Yeah, OK. Well, don't tell me when you're there, though. That's
OK, I won't.
Do you think, I mean, I know you're saying your career is sort of meticulously planned. Did you ever plan to actually take up singing as a career? I mean, because if the critics do like you and people come in their thousands to see you, then obviously the next logical step is that you put something down on record.
No, it won't happen.
Definitely not.
No, I promise you, I wouldn't do that.
So if that phone call comes and says, you'll never believe this, Philip.
No.
But Bryan Adams has got a song for you.
Bryan Adams, my goodness. No, certainly not. It's one of those things that my philosophy, I've broken the rule to do this 6 weeks, but I said that there are a lot of presenters who've made singles, and I've always said that you know, I'm a presenter and I should present, but I broke the rule to do this 6 weeks, but that's, you know, that's a bit different. This really is like I said, a big adventure. But I wouldn't make a record. I think that really is just pushing it too far.
Okay, you say you're presenting this week, start of a new Schofield in Europe series. And where are you off to this time, first of all?
The first programme is Istanbul.
Oh, I like Istanbul.
Yeah, it's a
great
wild
city.
programme. It's a crazy place.
That's where Europe and Asia, the two
yeah, well,
continents meet.
it's interesting because you cross the Bosphorus on the bridge and you've gone from Europe to Asia. Although, of course, there aren't any sort of passports and things. It's all the same country. But I think it's only 3% of Turkey is in Europe, and the rest is in Asia. So there's a remarkable sort of cross-section of people and cultures. So it's that, I thought it was a really interesting one to start off with.
What other places do you go to in the series?
We've done Reykjavik, so that's Iceland. We've done Vienna in Austria. We've done Barcelona in Spain, Amsterdam, Holland, and Prague in Czechoslovakia.
Nice job if you can get it, isn't it, really?
Not a bad summer. I had a good summer.
Yeah, Kylie, when you're on tour, do you get a chance to go out and see much of these places that no doubt Philip was filming?
No, unfortunately.
That's one of the trials of success, I suppose, isn't it? You actually can't go out. Or do you dress up? Do you sort of put a disguise on to go out?
I guess in England, certainly, put a hat on, scarf on, or glasses, which actually most of the time doesn't really make too much difference. I don't know how people do it. It's like, there she is. I mean, I hardly recognise myself.
Those new teeth of yours work really well,
Yeah.
though, don't they? Those great big sort of teeth at the front, they work really well.
Really good. I've tried the glasses with the nose and the moustache all in one. I find that's a good one
Yeah.
as well.
Very subtle little sort of disguise. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Do they? I mean, do you still get people camping outside your house, like freelance photographers or whatever?
It's not as manic as it used to be. A few years ago, I think with the hype of Neighbours, and it was just so full on. And also, I wasn't as good as coping with it as I am now. Not that I'm an expert by any means. So it still baffles me sometimes, all of this.
Well, not when you think about it that you've had, what, is this the 13th hit single you've had?
14th, maybe it's
Oh,
my
sorry,
15th
14th.
now, I
Oh,
think.
15th. Oh,
God,
sorry.
I feel
Sorry.
so old.
Well, that's why, you see. I mean, you've never had a flop yet, have you, really?
No, no.
Well, that joy is still to come. Stay with us for the time being. Thanks, Helen.
It's 12 minutes to 9. Now then, a rock musician who's been trying for more than 30 years to make a hit record will finally be rewarded today when he's presented with a national award, not for his music, but for trying so hard to become a star. Singer-songwriter Les Payne has had more than his fair share of bad luck over the years, but it never put him off trying to make the big time. In a moment, we'll be meeting Les, but first, Louise Bevan went to watch him rehearsing in his home county of Buckinghamshire.
It's more than 30 years since Les Payne made his stage debut. He's been singing ever since and has written more than 500 songs. He's also released 9 records and will tonight clock up his 5,100th performance. Yet at 48, he's still waiting to be discovered. Les Payne is an almost success story. He almost had a hit on several occasions. Yet for years, bad luck seemed to follow him around. In 1974, a promising first single sank without trace when the 3-day week caused a shortage of vinyl. Then another disaster in 1982. Les released an anti-war song, but the Falklands War broke out and radio stations refused to play it. Les has a crowd of faithful fans.
I think he's a very talented guy.
I think some people get the breaks. Maybe Les's time has finally come.
If not, Les won't worry. He'll just carry on his nightly performances at local pubs and clubs and says the day he fails is the day he's forced to find a day job.
Good stuff. And Les joins us now. Good morning to you. And we actually have this wonderful award here. Here we have.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Da-da-da, shining beacon. Could I ask Mr. Schofield to present this wonderful award?
This would be a great honour and a privilege. This is a fantastic story, and this is obviously very well deserved. So
Thank you very much.
well
Stop
done.
laughing.
No, not at all.
Well, you asked earlier if people camp outside of Kylie's house. I actually camp outside of other people's houses. That's how rough it's been.
Well, Les, it's really good to see you.
Thank you.
But you really have had such a lot of bad luck. I mean, it really has. When really was the first sort of major setback, do you think?
Well, everyone's saying I have a lot of bad luck. I think I have a lot of good luck as well. But I mean, I had a record of the week in '74 with Johnny Walker,
oh,
who I've always admired.
Yeah,
still
brilliant
do.
DJ, he's great.
And it was a record of the week, so suddenly everything happened. I had a lot of play. I sold about 3,000 in a week, and RCA actually brought out this single and just did 3,000, which they tend to do with the new artists. And it sold them all, and then the miners went on strike and brought the Ted Heath government down.
Yeah.
We went on a 3-day week.
Oh, no.
There was an oil crisis which caused a vinyl shortage, and you couldn't buy my records.
Oh, you stop laughing.
No, I
so
shouldn't laugh, I know.
No, but it is funny, and I mean, I actually...
That was-
No, but I wanted the humour of this to come over because, see, I've done for many, many years. How many people out there can say they love doing what they do for a living?
That's very true.
I love my job.
That's very true.
And although I gig in pubs, and that's why I've done so many gigs, because the money's lousy. I mean, I do 300 gigs a year.
300?
Yeah, and when you hear sort of superstars on television saying, hey, I've got 20 this year, I don't know if I'm going to manage it. It actually does make me laugh, because I do my own roadieing as well, you see.
Good grief.
That's what keeps me fit.
I bet it
But the
does.
thing is that it's not to do with making it. I love music, I love writing, and I've learnt my craft. I know that I've got a good album out at the moment.
Yay! Well done, good for you.
It's called 47 Summers, and the reason the title is
Did you do that all yourself?
Yeah,
And you brought
and
that
that's
out
me
on
from a
yourself?
baby right to now.
Right.
I was never good looking.
Oh, I don't know.
And the thing is that I haven't got distribution on this, folks. And that's the problem again, you see. If 100,000 people wanted this tomorrow, which I'm sure they're starting to clamber now,
I would absolutely.
they'd have to come to my house to get them, because I've just got them in the back of a trunk, you know. So it's all these things, but see, if ever I feel down about the thing, like I brought a record out that was anti-war and the Falklands War started,
Is that what happened?
all these kind of things that happen, if I feel down, I just look at the news and see people that can't eat and things. And
Well,
I just
absolutely.
think,
And as you say, that
I'm really lucky.
you enjoy what you do, which is
That's right.
which is so rare and so important. Didn't David Bowie write you a song?
David Bowie wrote a song
No,
for
there's
me,
not
yeah.
many people can say that.
No, and he was fairly unknown, and I've still actually got the recording of him doing a demo with a hand claps and piano. And he actually changed the lyrics of the song when he did it. It came out on Ziggy Stardust.
Was that Star? The song
It was Star, yeah. But it used to start, if someone had the sense to hear me, if someone had the time to see. Oh, Dave and I are friends, you know. But see, I also... Yeah, we do. But I worked in the British Legion in Prince's Risborough, a lot of people won't know where that is, with an unknown singer called Peter Gabriel and the drummer called Phil Collins, you see. Because I was around when they started. And the thing everyone's saying about age, the reason this is called 47 Summers, I've had to cross all these out because I'm 48 now, is everyone thinks if you're over 20 in this business, you're dead. And I still leap up in the air, and I'm a musician, you know. Yeah. So it's that energy that's kept me going.
But there are a lot of bands that still kept going, that are over me.
Yeah, I think it's acceptable if you've made it and you're old.
Right.
But when you're starting, it's a joke. But you know, the weird phenomenon of rock music is that they never told people like B.B. King to pack in.
That's true.
And that's what I grew up on, all the old black blues and stuff. They don't tell Frank Sinatra to pack in.
I don't think anybody would dare to sell some Frank Sinatra.
But see, 40 years ago, there was no such thing as rock and roll, so an old rock and roller is a fairly sort of unusual thing.
So how long do you reckon you'll keep rocking?
I'll do it till I die. I mean, you know, if I don't get a break from all this publicity, and I mean, it has gone really mad.
Yeah.
But then now I've met Philip as well, and Kylie.
Now you can pack in now.
I can pack in now. I can take over the show next time he goes off.
I can see you actually. As
see, the thing, well, it's not really my sort of thing that I would sing, because I'm sort of a rock singer, but and ballads and things. But it's nothing to do with that. I mean, if I have to busk, this is what I do. This is my job, you know.
Right. So that's how you earn your money. You would never ever think of, like you said
never.
there, it would.
I mean, I'll do it till I drop.
Yeah, and 300 a year.
Around from 1980 to 1990, I did between 250 and 300 a year. Cool. And from 1970 to 1980, I did very similar, but for no money at all, because I was doing things like Hammersmith Odeon and all the big gigs that are great to tell your folks, you know, and say, hey, guess where I'm playing? But for those gigs, when you support tours and all that, you have to pay to go on, you don't get paid for it. And so I actually never earned any money. So in 1980, I had to think, shall I give up? And I mean, that went in my head and out like that. Yeah. And I thought, no, I'm not going to. I've got to actually, you know, keep going. So I went back to square one and started doing duos and solos around the pubs.
Kylie, how many gigs did you do this year?
I'm ashamed to say.
Come on, how many?
Well, I just did a two-week tour of the UK, so that was 12 shows.
He does that in an afternoon.
Exactly. I think it's wonderful. It's so admirable that, you know, to have so much drive and determination and to believe so much in what you do is wonderful. I mean, you're inspiring me right
and to enjoy it so much as well.
I enjoy life. You know, everyone's been saying, "Are you a failure?" Are you a failure? What a sort of thing to ask me.
But that's the thing. Like, people, they like to pick up on something that's negative, and it's just it's so wrong.
But hang on,
when there's so much positive that you've done and you're enjoying it.
You did have success. You got a song quite close to being chosen for the Eurovision Song Contest, didn't you?
Yeah, I was really glad that never got through. The thing is also, through the biog, I said, whatever you do, don't put out a hard luck story, because I'm a really happy guy. And they put out this thing, like, David Bowie wrote a song for him, and next week he failed Opportunity Knocks, which was true. And then I got a deal with RCA, and I failed New Faces, so I was quite pleased as well about that.
Well, what we plan to do is, we've got your CD. Give me your CD over, because I think this is the most deserved plug that has ever been done, really, in the history of certainly this programme. It's Les Payne's new CD. It's called 47 Summers, and everybody should go
and
out
we're going to
buy it.
pick a track from that. We'd like to film a pop video with you.
We'll make a pop video with you.
If we can listen to it.
I Can't Cry For You might be a single.
Right.
I mean,
well, we'll... What are you saying,
and if it
you
goes,
can all be in it.
If it goes for 16 weeks at #1, we've got part sharing it as well, all right?
Definitely.
You can come on with the bow and arrow.
No, but we'll do that. That'll be good fun. We'll make a video with you, and that'll be good.
Lovely.
Yep.
Okay.
What are you doing, Kylie? What have you got planned coming up? Anything anymore?
I'm doing some promotion around Europe, and then I'm going home for Christmas, so I'm really excited to be getting home for the summer and see my family.
Have a good time. Philip's going to be busy over... when do you take over? When does it start?
January the 13th. Yeah, and I've got a singing lesson at 10 o'clock.
Les could probably give you one.
And I've got to go because I've got a gig.
Fabulous.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Thanks very much indeed.
Good stuff. Good to see you. Great. Now then, next
Tomorrow,
guest. Tomorrow,
guests.
go on then.
Well, your favourite, isn't it? It's Clive James.
It is Mr. Clive James. We're looking forward to that, are we not?
And also Hollywood actor Tom Berenger, who's a new film out with Greta. Is it Greta Scacchi or Sacchi? I was getting mixed up with Sacchi and Sacchi. Greta Scacchi, is it? Greta Scacchi. It's called Shattered.
Yes. Right, now we'll have a look at the weather with Ulrika. Good morning to you. And you want to star in Les's video?
Yes, we'll only make the video if I can star in the video.
Right.
Even if I just have a camera roll walking on and off.
I think we can arrange this.
I'm sure, a small arrangement. Picture of Suffolk sent in to us by John Pike. Thanks very much from that. Weather-wise, it's not very pleasant. Having just popped my head outside,